Waiting on him.
Good evening and welcome to the City of Opa-locka's Community Relations Recreation Activities Board meeting. Meeting is being called to order at 6:24 p.m. August 15, 2023. Roll call. Brian Dennis,
Here.
Flo Wright,
Present.
Eugene Stanley,
Here.
Angelina Roberts. Invocation will be given by Deacon Eugene Stanley.
Father God, we give you the honor, we give you the praise, Lord God. We thank you for being God all by yourself. Lord God, we thank you for choosing us to be the mind of the city, to lead the city in the right way. Lord God, decrease us, you may increase in us, when we might do the right decision, make the right decision. Lord God, we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Park and Recreations Director's Report.
Greetings. I want to give my Parks and Recreation staff of applause because our summer program this year was a success. And the family was really amazed on how we structured the summer program this year, where we incorporated the educational component as well as fun in the parks. Also, we had the book bag giveaway this weekend. We serviced over 500 kids this weekend. Also, we had our end of the summer trip to Busch Gardens on August the 4th. That was a success as well. Also, we're doing registration right now for the after school program for 2023. We look forward to the parents bringing their kids out and have a fun, amazing adventure after school program where we will be having STEM Fridays, doing our after school program each week. We also received our application response back from the FERDAC grant. So we have a total of 3 grants, which targets Ingram Park, Siegel Park, and also Shabani Park. That concludes the director's report.
Item F, discussion, senior outreach and assistant resources. Co-Chair Roberts.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, the meeting was called tonight pertaining the elderly, the veterans, and for an outreach program for the seniors and the veterans of Opa-locka. As you all know, we had a senior to pass away on yesterday, Miss Dorothy Bishop, longtime resident. And to get to the point of to get to the point of this situation, she had a lot of personal issues and things that was going on and really had nowhere to turn. And when you have, I think this year we had at least 7 or 8 seniors to pass away. And there's no communication, there's nothing to create a forum for them. So when you have a senior or a veteran or whomever, and you don't have anybody to reach out to, we have to find some form of resources and to put something in writing so that we can establish some form of help for the seniors. We have Ms. Shirley, she's sick now. We have Ms. Ramona going through some issues with housing with the landlord. So there are certain situations that's going to affect our seniors here in the city of Opa-locka. I do know in the Parks and Recreation Department, the coordinator for the Seniors on the Move, Ms. What her name is? Dee Dee, last name? Darton, Miss Darton. Dee Dee. She's the coordinator. Diane Darton, whatever. For the Seniors on the Move. And her and the park director, Miss Ray, established a form of trying to do some form of connection on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the seniors that's not in the program. But in order to relate to it, we have to find a way to incorporate a form of something that we can get a reach to it. Like if we're going to establish going out to Town Center 1, set up some form of meeting where they can get name, addresses, and most of the seniors that doesn't have any family or anything, you can make contact with them on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. The needs are so great with the seniors. We have seniors that don't have food. We have seniors that have a lot of personal problems that we never get to address because nobody knows it. It's just by the grace of God that I have a different outlook with a lot of seniors, and I get a lot of phone calls on a daily basis about it. And we have to find something to assist our seniors. Our Archbishop is the same way. Whoever is running that facility, we need to touch bases with that facility so that we can get a booklet, some form of booklet information where you get close of kin, you have everybody somewhere you can have a connection. These people are dying. Nobody knows anything about it till 2 or 3 days before the situation. People talk about it, but you don't hear about it. So how do you fix something if people don't address it? And I think right now is the time that we have to address the situations with the seniors in the city of Opa-locka. And that's some of the things that's really actually going on. We have an elderly man that signed over his house. He don't have any family. We have to find out if he's going senile or whatever is going on with him. And they're about to be evicted. Somebody refinanced the house. It's a lot of different things that y'all just don't know. But in order to create a form, we have to start now. You lose 7 to 10 seniors this year. That is a lot when you can't reach out and touch the family. You have people die here and they don't have anybody, but they don't have a communication with anybody for help. So you don't hear anything about it until it's too late. Doing a resolution and putting it on paper is one thing, but we have to find a form of something to communicate, make a direct approach with the seniors so that we could get some of these things done. And we need to do it quickly. And that was one of the reasons why I brought it to the forefront. Like I said, that I'm just happen to be around a lot of the scenarios of it, so I get a lot of phone calls. You know, me and Ms. Banks spoke. Ms. Banks was absent because she's helping Ms. Dorothy Bishop daughter trying to clean up a mess. You know, you don't have a mess and can't clean up a mess if you don't know it's a mess. Now that she's involved with it, that's when you found and everything is being uncovered. They have to do some things and they have to do it right away, but you don't have anybody. It's no way that Ms. Banks is a resident of the city of Opa-locka, even though she's on the board, the Community Relations Board, you know, for the city of Opa-locka, that they call her and nobody can make contact with anybody. Miss Shirley don't have any family. Miss Ramona family is in New York. So she don't have an outlet. She needs to move, she need housing, she need assistance, they don't have down payments, they live off a fixed income. What do you do to make an intervention to solve some of these things? And that is my report on it.
Board Member Wright recognized.
I agree with you because I have that soft spot for the elderly. And I think that we should go ahead and create like an outreach for them. I think one of the ideas that they can't come to us, maybe we could go to them. And when they do like feedings and things like that, we could go and take it to them because a lot of them can't come out here and you know, a lot of them they can't hardly walk or things like that, or there's a barrier. But that's, I'm very happy that you brought that up because they are also part of the community. And so we need to really, really take them in consideration too, because it's sad when somebody passes away and you don't have any family members and funeral arrangements and things like that, and they have nobody. Think about it. I mean, just think about it if it was your kid folks or somebody like that. I just can't imagine. So I agree with you, and whatever you need, let me know.
Okay.
Coach Robert, I have a couple of questions. Ms. Shirley. I'm under the assumption that she was a longtime resident.
She is a longtime resident.
Is she a part of the seniors program?
Yes.
Okay, so how can the active seniors that we have be involved in this process?
Okay, let me explain something to you. We have a Seniors on the Move program, but I don't think y'all know how the Seniors on the Move program actually works. They register for the program and they go out and they do different things with the program. But how do you fix something if you only targeting the people that's in your program? You know?
No, this is what I'm asking. How can we get those seniors that are a part of the program to help us reach those seniors that are not a part of the program?
We're gonna have to go to Ms. Durden, go talk to Dee Dee about it, and that starts the outreach. The biggest issue is if you go to Art Bishop, if you go to Town Center 1, the people that really don't have a relationship or not involved on a daily basis, you don't have an outreach for them. But how do you reach these people when they still need help? You know, you could do 10 food drives, but if you have 10 seniors that don't have a car, you can't reach those 10 people. Assisting them in any form. I mean, it's not always financial for everybody. Sometimes it's just a phone call. Hey, this is Mary Lou. This is what happened today. I had some issues. My lights are gonna be turned off. I called the program. I'm not in the program. That's not gonna be a priority. No, it's not a priority because she's not in the program. But you have to get away from that part of it and to reach everybody. A senior is a senior. A veteran is a veteran. Good or bad, that's what it is. And in order to build a relationship with your community, And with the older people in the community, you still have to have some form of outreach. I'm gonna sit down and I was gonna talk to Ms. Durden. I know that they solved some things already. But in order to fix it, you have to reach your people. I can't sit behind a desk and I'm the coordinator and I can't reach my people. Whether they're in the program or not, I'm a senior coordinator. On 2 days, if you don't have an outreach, okay, you're here for 8 hours. Okay, I'm gonna use the city van or the seniors on the move bus. I'm gonna go out to our bishop. I'm gonna meet there today. Could you have the people to come now? Anybody that need assistance, anybody help? The only thing you could do is make an outreach for them. How you solve it is another issue, but you have to reach the people. It's no way Miss Bishop should have been sick. I mean, they was reaching out to her. Dee Dee did reach out to her, the Parks and Recreation. They did do those things, but that's one body out of 100 and some odd seniors. If I'm limited to the house, you can't bring me no food. It has to be something developed where we can form something that, okay, on this day, we're gonna go out there and have a meeting with the management. Management, we need these people to come down. What are your concerns? Do you have any family? What is your emergency contact? You get this information down when something happened, you could make a phone call. But if you don't have no information, you can't do anything at all. And that is what's going on with it. Miss Shirley, she got sick, she got down sick, she got a little better, she got down sick again, she got a little better. You had Michael, he was fighting some issues with his heart. He ended up passing 2 months ago, or whatever the situation, Valerie boyfriend. He ended up passing 2 months ago. He ended up moving out of Opa-locka. They put him in a home, but these are people that was involved, and then they chose to get out of the program for whatever reason. But there's still seniors that we have here. You might have some seniors that really are up on their feet. You have some seniors that's in wheelchairs. You have seniors on walkers. What do you do to approach a person that don't have anybody? No.
So
What do you do?
So what I'm hearing, what I'm hearing is basically it's going to have to be a block by block, door by door campaign.
Yes.
Because if the seniors, this is my understanding of it, and this is how I've always dealt with seniors. Seniors know other seniors, so they would turn those who want to know who the seniors are on to the other seniors. But if you have a gap to where those seniors don't know those other seniors, then that campaign has to be a little different. It has to be something that is set up and moved by sector. Okay, let's say got a lot of transit on the other side of 135th between 27th Avenue and the Back Blues. Got a lot of transit back there. So how many of those apartments or duplexes have seniors in them? Whether they are involved in whether they're involved with the city program or not. So we have to go back with that. So now you look at, you just covered one section of the city. So now you plan another section of the city. So the thing of it is in order for something to be effectively done, you have to be able to find out who's who, where they at, regardless of what's going on. So now, once we could do that, once that piece is done, then we're looking at the situation of understanding, okay, now we can service these seniors. What I'm looking at is something that I've seen done years ago with James E. Scott, with the James E. Scott Association. There was always other seniors to be able to get other seniors. I don't know how many seniors are in the Seniors of the Move program. I don't know.
Director, how many seniors are in the seniors program, seniors on the move?
Well, there was over 100 and something that is registered outside of the one that's actually passed. And then she have a few, every month she get like 6 or 7 new seniors.
So we have to find out through the seniors. So that's a conversation that need to be had with the seniors. So even if that means me taking off a few hours from work, you know, if I could have a conversation with the seniors to find out how to reach the other seniors, because it has to be about community. It has to be about community. And if you're getting 6 to 7 new seniors every month, then that means somebody's telling those seniors about the program, how great the program is, how wonderful it is, and how it's working. So that's kudos to you and your staff. But for those who don't know, what area do you stay in? Even if you don't know your neighbor, I'm quite sure you've seen the neighbor. We have to go back to trying to think, was it Sesame Street, where they say, who are the people in your neighborhood? That's what we have to go back to in order to find out who's in the neighborhood, because you got to remember now the demographics in the city is changing. And so in the process of the demographics changing, one has to be willing to go above and beyond what needs to be done. So that's why I'm asking, how do we get the seniors involved in the program? We understand seniors go shopping and they go on trips and different things like that, but there are seniors that don't know that. So
I got a question.
let me recognize Ms. Ray and then I'll come back to you. Ms. Ray.
Okay, one of the issues that the senior program have, and I can attest to it, is that transportation is a major factor in the program, because the transportation that they have right now is small. So we're trying to get a bigger bus so that we can be able to assist the ones which are in wheelchairs to be able to get on the bus, because right now, if the bus that they have right now only holds 24 seniors. If they come with their walkers, they're gonna take up 2 of those seats. So that means instead of you having 24, you're gonna have 22. So that's an issue in hands, one of the issues. Now, the second issue is that we don't have nobody that speaks both language unless it's a senior. So that's another issue, because a lot of the seniors in Archbishop, a lot of them speak Spanish. So when you communicate with them, unless you know a little bit, you understand partial of what they're talking about. If you don't know any Spanish, then you're lost, because what you need to explain to them, you can't explain to them. And then the people in the office really don't want to explain anything to them, because before we used to make sure calendars go out in Archbishop as well as Town Center for them to know what we're doing each and every month. If you want to be involved, we'll come. So now Ms. Durton asked me, is it okay for her to reach out to where they go to Archbishop and Town Center once a month? They're going to do bingo or some form of communication or activity with them at Archbishop. And then they're going to do the same setup at Town Center. But you still have other senior homes in Opa-locka that you can't even get to, because they have restrictions where they don't want outside people coming inside. And several people have experienced that also when they was campaigning. They don't allow them in the building. So you're almost in a catch-22, but I think the clerk's office supposed to give Ms. Didi a list of all the seniors that live in the community. And we're gonna do a door-to-door connection with them, outreach, where they get to know me, myself, as the Parks and Recreation Director, Mr. Dakari Grishman as the Park Superintendent, and well as getting to know Ms. Didi as the Senior Coordinator. So we're factoring in all those components to try to reach one, teach one. So the only way you're gonna do that, we have to get that list to be able to target those people. But we have lost quite a bit of seniors this year, because before that, like she said, you lost my father, Samuel Williams, on Sunday, and he was a part of the senior program. Also, you had Miss Clara Way, who passed away recently, and around that same time, Michael passed. Then you had Miss Shirley to have a stroke. Miss Shirley do have family, but they busy. And then the son wife is a whole nother attachment to that. That's an issue. So it's like a lot of them that kind of like is by themselves. Miss Ramona, she been calling me as well, and I look at them more and just the seniors. I look at them more as like grandma, auntie, uncles, and stuff like that. And it's a wear and tear when you're so close to them and you see them start going through a lot of different things now. That's what you call a disaster in the making, because they stress too much about the situations. So that's what we're dealing with right now.
Okay, board member, right?
That's the question, but I think you answered me. Because I remember when my grandmother, I took care of my grandmother till, she was 100. And she used to live in this facility on 7th Street, and those that didn't have like, that didn't go out or anything like that, they would bring programs inside to them and they would go to their door. I remember I used to go with my grandmother, like sometimes she wouldn't want to go, but they will come and get her and they'll have like special activities and things like that. If they didn't have, if they didn't want to go grocery shopping, somebody will go for them and things and do things like that. And I think that that's the way we could do it, because a lot of them get depressed. And a lot of them don't want to be around people because they have nobody. So they get very depressed, and depression is real, especially among the senior citizens. And so that's how they feel. They feel like they're a burden. And so I think that that's a good idea if we could like do activities with them. I mean, we fuss and fight about, I guess, about we're not fuss and fight, but we talk about the parks and everything, but our senior citizens are lacking too at that part. I think we should have like something like Ms. Roberts says, they are valuable to our community. So I think we should go like to different places and do like different activities with them. I mean, really, you should see the smile on their faces when they see people, like you give them like a schedule, and a lot of them would love to see them. Like they say, oh, Miss Roberts is coming on Monday because she came to do this and she came to do that. So that's something that we should really work on.
One of the things that I really want to address this, and I didn't want to say earlier. I don't have a problem with helping anyone, but I'm not down with the campaign, because I know that's how people play. The seniors in Overtown, when they needed their center at the Coleman Center open, that was something that we worked with because we're a community partner in Overtown. And so that's one of the things that one of the seniors that has a large voice in Overtown, he got the seniors not just from Overtown, but from different county agencies that they go to different parts of the county to come in and stand with them, and they have a successful program. There's a lot of activity that goes on with that. So my thing would be is, if you're going to do it, just let me know ahead of time. I have more than enough time to take off from work. And I'll take the time off, and then we'll go actually, whatever needed to be done, we could get it actually done. Because for a senior to be alone, and especially they've ingratiated themselves in the community, they were the village that raised us as children. So now the hand has to turn back. So we have to be just as responsible for them as they were for us during our time. And then some of us who's over the age of 50, we're going in that direction next to be them. So there has to be a plan put in place so that not just those seniors that's in the senior program, but to expand that program. I believe the program could be expanded bigger than what it was, because I see how those seniors, when they get together, how they really enjoy each other's company and they really have a good time. So to be all inclusive, we have to get those that are limited. I understand what the park director is saying, and that's another issue that's going to have to be worked out, because we do have seniors that have mobility issues. So whether it be the walker or the scooter or crutches or whatever it is, there has to be something that's put in place so those seniors can be welcome to come out the door as well. So it needs to be something that is carefully thought out and not rushed into. But for those seniors that we do know that have these situations and that they are alone, we can start working with them now. We can start being abreast of them now. And I take my hat off to the Parks and Recreation staff and what they've done, and Ms. Darden and the information that she's providing. So let's see what it is actually that we could come up with as being some type of registration form, whether a family member could fill it out or anything like that. That because they're going to be the key to it. Because if you got a family, I think you said Miss Shirley family works a lot, right? But if that family knows that they have someone that's coming to their house from the city to pick their relative up or to pick their loved one up, guess what? They're gonna have them ready and have them prepared for the outing to go out. So let's see how that actually works. I'm all for it. I think we need to come back, have a planning session around it, see what we can hash up. We got to start somewhere and bring it to the drawing board and see what else we can come up. We also need to have those seniors that's a part of the senior program. We need their voices as well, so that we will have a great understanding of what's actually missing, because they know what we don't know. And so by them knowing what we don't know, they give us the light to what we should know and give us a direction in what we should know. We have to take advantage of the wisdom that they have. And so on that note, I'm just more so really sad and not knowing what is actually taking place with our seniors. And it's almost as if they're a neglected child. If you're not in the program, you're neglected. And even if you is in the program, if you fall to the wayside, if nobody don't keep abreast of you, you become neglected. So our seniors are our most experienced people. They're the ones with the history. They're the ones with the track record. Those are the ones who can teach the young people, something. And even though we're up in age, it ain't never too old. We ain't never too old to learn something new. So the seniors, the veterans, anybody that is in that category that we can help, let's find a way, find a date to come back and begin to craft something, craft something that we can get them to work on, that we can work on to get them more involved. The year's fastly coming to a close. We're in August, September is coming around, the holidays are coming around. So we know, again, if you don't have family members, some people, as Board Member Rice said, they get depressed just like young folks or middle-aged folks and everybody else. So we don't need our seniors giving up if we can provide them with hope. I think the task of this board is bigger than most, but at the same time, it's not like we can't accomplish it if we put our head to it, we put our minds to it. So let's see what we can come up with. We'll pick a date and we'll go from there. Board Member Wright, recognize.
Ms. Ray, even though I volunteer my services, even after work, to talk to those that speak Spanish if you need to. So that way we could, because I speak both languages, so that way we could reach them and we could, like, even on a Saturday morning or something, we could go out there and talk to them and see how it is, what they needs. And maybe we could come up all together with a survey and ask them, what are their needs, or what are they in lack of, and maybe get some resources, like look around and see some of the resources that they could come to the facilities for those seniors that maybe you were saying Miss Ramona was not, she was losing her house or something like that.
No, she's in a rental property and it has some issues. So the owner of the property really don't want to fix it.
Wow.
Without the rent going up. But she really don't have, when you live off of fixed income, it's fixed income. It doesn't change because your situation changes based upon your income. And I think that's the biggest issue with it. one of my concerns with all of it, I'm all for doing all the partying and the things, but we have a lot of more things that's important that we have to really like target it. We're gonna get with Dee Dee. I'm gonna ask Dee Dee some quick questions. And then some of y'all on the board, good, some of y'all concerns, get with Dee Dee, and then we can figure out where we need to go. But whatever angle that we chose to go as a board, we need to try to work on it and come to some form of agreement where we can reach some of our seniors. And I think that's just it, coming from a person on both sides. My father was 85 years old. And in the last 5 years, it was a lot of downward, movement. It's a little tricky, but just think if it was just him and nobody else, and then you have Ms. Bishop, went down fairly quickly. She had some issues. She was sick a little, but nobody knows she was sick. But then it went from on her feet, and in a couple of months, she's dead. So you have to look at everything when it comes to people's situations. Everything is not financial. Some things is reaching out, teaching people different things. And some people don't open up because they really don't care. But I do know in the seniors program, the ones that's on their feet, they have a lot of them that set in their own ways. So when you set in your own ways, it's harder to reach a person when they set in their own ways. We have to find a way to get Dee Dee to get out to the center for the ones that comes out and really sit down and have them to open up about the people that we can't reach and get with Dee Dee, maybe get on our feet with Dee Dee and go spend some time at these facilities to try to get to know the people. Because when a person trusts you, they trust you until you do something wrong.
Mhm.
But that's the basis of everything. Like I said, that it was more so I received a couple of phone calls, and because pretty much I'm involved in a lot of different things. I mean, not one thing. I get a lot of calls with everything. You never know what that day is going to bring. And that was one of the situations that came to me last week. And I said, you know what? We really need to target our seniors right now. They're getting older. They're getting older, and time don't wait on man. Time is time. And I think that's the biggest situation. If we can go for the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a meeting. We always have a meeting the third Tuesday. If we could go and everybody do some collaborations of thoughts and talk to Dee Dee, get your opinion on it. The Spanish people, we live in a diverse community, so you don't know exactly who you're going to have to reach. So since you don't know, we have to find a way that we can all come together and maybe meet up one day, sit in there with Dee Dee. Okay, hey, we're the support team. We're the support. Things are not going to happen overnight, but we're the support team. You have a lot of them, lights are being turned off, or they can't afford their light bill. Like everybody knows, the funding for the light services, like LAHI, is based upon funding. We are approaching the end of the fiscal year. October 1st is coming, but in the meantime, you still need your lights paid.
Quick question on LAHI. Doesn't the city have its own program?
No,
So it does come through the county.
it still has to go to Dade County.
So, but are our people taking advantage of the program?
Yeah, they are, but the program is income based. If you go to Dee Dee has to establish a program, or whoever established before Dee Dee, the program is there. But if I go in there, she does it on Fridays. But if I go in there and I fill out an application and they don't have funding, you're still back where you started from. Then you have to do the research for Care to Share. Everybody knows Care to Share is a program that pays your light bill, but their stipulations are a lot different. You have to really get to know the people. I talk to people, I talk to everybody, so I could pretty much tell you about the Care to Share. I don't know how they run it directly, but I do know that their policies and procedures are done different. If you tell Florida Power and Light that you're gonna promise to pay, they want their money. If they don't pay, then you have another situation. So we have to find a way that we can help whomever. We have 328 families in the Back Blue that is going through a hardship back there. The facility is being, they need to condemn the facility. Glorietta Gardens, they need to condemn it. Not only do you have Glorietta Gardens, you have the Browns on 135th Street, 32nd Avenue. These are where not just young people live, you have seniors live in those facilities too. You know, and then you have a Cadova Apartments, which I'm pleased to say that they say Cadova Apartments are standing up to the bargain. You know, they're doing what they're supposed to do. So it's a lot. It's not just targeting the Back Blues. It's not targeting Archbishop. It's not one scenario, because a senior can live anywhere. If it's, I mean, they live wherever. You have to go out, and we need to find out how we could do it quickly. Make contact with these people, or whatever the situation is. Everybody looking for money. Unless you have a fund for it, you can't financially, you can't assist them. But if you have a little bit of support, then that's when your business mind comes in. You put it in perspective. And I think that's the whole basis. Having a meeting, I was brought to y'all because it was brought to me. Like I said, I speak to people from all walks of life. It's not, whatever the day brings, that's what it brings. And good days, bad days, I see, you know, when you work with the children and the families come, and it's 15 of them in one house, and the floor is being falling in, and you never know what you're gonna go through. So this is why I'm saying the seniors right now and the veterans are something that we really have to target. I mean, how many seniors here? I can't tell you that, but I do know that the outreach we have to find some kind of way to reach them. And it's not always about being free. Let's just say something free, everybody come. But that don't say the problem in your house is solved. Do that make sense? You know, I have an issue, which is fine. Oh, I'm going to win me a TV today. So I'm going to the park. I'm going to eat today. I'm going to the park. But when they go back home, they have something to eat, but the problems are still there. But how do you know I'm sick if I never tell you I'm sick? If I can't reach you, how do I solve that? That is the whole basis of everything.
And this is, when we're talking about pockets, like we saying Glorietta Gardens and the Back Blues and things like that, 22nd Avenue. What I mean by pockets is we're going to those pockets to actually find those individuals. We're actually mining for diamonds. So in the process of mining for diamonds, we're going to uncover some people that we need to uncover, but we still have to keep moving. So the thing of it is now is, how do we get everybody involved? And so it can't be a meeting here. It can't be a meeting here. I do know that we do need Ms. Darton to come, put it on record in the front of the board. But now the board has to come from out of this facility and be able to go. And this is one of the things that we were talking about when we established this board a few months back, about actually going out into the community and getting the concerns. So now, when we are looking at seniors, and I understand about the Back Blues and Glorietta Gardens, let me say this concerning the Back Blues. It's not a lost cause, but it's a lost cause. And here's why I say that. The two buildings, not the front buildings, The back buildings where the guard gate at, where the police at. You look at those two buildings are leaning. They've been leaning for years. They sinking in the ground. How many administrations been here knew that? But they were being paid off. You could have all the press conferences, you can call all the elected officials, you could do all this other stuff. This ain't just got like that. Every time a major hurricane come, it floods, that first flow goes out from both of those buildings in the back. Everybody knows this. The city had $90 million to do infrastructure. They let all the money go back to the state. $90 million. And we talking about they could assist these families long before a housing crisis even came. You have to have vision in order to do that. So now you got people that are stuck back there being smashed up and bit up by mosquitoes. You got rats, you got everything back there. But there's a pretense that they're going back there to help these people. We're going to condemn it and tear it down. You could take the building official back there and tear it down. Now, where you going to put them? We already got a housing crisis, so where you going to put them? So now, when you talk about uprooting them, now you talk about uprooting seniors who really don't have a place to go. So we have to be smarter than that. We have to have community input as well as those of us who know what time it is and who knows what's going on. Because with $90 million and HUD getting out of the business of housing, could you imagine what you could have did with the infrastructure 20, 30 years ago with those people in the back to then stabilize the ground so that the buildings won't be sinking and falling in? So when it rains, the people that live it on the first floor and the second and third floor, the first floor gonna have to go, but now you got the people on the second and third floor trapped in the building and can't move. So you have to be smarter than that.
Okay, but now let me go a little further. Let me go a little further. I really didn't want to touch the back blues, and that's another horse of another color. The reason why I said the back blues because of the seniors, the other people that it affects back there. It's not just the young people.
Yeah,
You know, it affects everybody. And we do have seniors back there that's having some issues. I am a strong believer. I believe in fighting for the right thing. I don't care what it is. I believe in fighting for the right thing with them in the back blues or whatever the situation is. Yeah, we have a lot of issues with the whatever happened along the line, but you have people that have to change the mindset on how you live. If you've been in a situation for 15 years, when Hurricane Andrew went back there, all the major hurricanes back there, and FEMA was going back there, nobody said nothing. It's now that there's no money going back there, everybody have a problem. And it's not everybody, but somebody have to change the way they think. I am a believer, and I went back there and I spoke to a lot of residents back there. I didn't step on nobody's toes. I didn't step on the manager. I didn't step on nobody's toes. But I am a believer that in life, you build your statutes on the way that you run your life. If you keep doing the same thing that puts you in the situation that you're in, you're never going to change it. 5 years from now, life plans showed you a lot of different things. If you're doing what you were doing 5 years ago, we have problems. And that is the situation with the back blues. Now, as a person, as an individual, we didn't have a housing crisis 10 years ago, but you never heard none of these things 10 years ago, even though they were there, but nobody never said nothing. Now you hear it because it's affecting people. But what about those things? You know, you get warned before destruction. You don't, the building didn't start leaning yesterday. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, those situations with it flooding back, that didn't happen yesterday. It was the lamp lighters, it was the oasis, it was the terraces, it was all those things. I'm a resident of the city of Opa-locka, been here all of my life. These are the things that people went through and nobody cared. Now everybody cares. I had a young lady to get on the elevator today and say to me, "Oh, I got mushrooms climbing out, coming out of my ceiling." You know, my first instinct to her, as a human being was, Would I want to live like that? Would I want to live like
course
that? But then, of course not. But what about these things that got you there from the beginning? When they had problems in Scots, they tore Scott down. The people fought. I mean, it wasn't an outcome that they wanted. Token being same thing. Lincoln Field, same thing. You have to change your mindset. 54th Street with an Annie-made apartments, they
Mhm.
knocked down the facility. And guess what? They're gonna build something nice there. And guess people have to change their outlook. I feel sorry for them back there. And then on the other hand, I say, hey, this life choices. Nobody cares. But they're still human beings. Would you want to go to your apartment and the roof cave in on you and your family? Would you want to live with the mold? No, you wouldn't.
You
Would you
gotta
like to
say
live with the rats? But those are the things that people just don't approach until there's something wrong with them. Me, no way. You know, I couldn't live back there. I probably been homeless a long time ago. They probably kicked me out a long time ago. But you have to, if you don't stand for something, or if you don't stand for nothing, you don't stand for something.
Mhm.
Nothing at all. You have to stand for the right thing. Whether the city help them fix it, or the owners of the Gloriana Gardens fix, whoever fix it, the people have to change the mentality. If I'm in a complex, I'm in a complex. I don't care if it's 5,000 people in a complex. If they can move me in a facility and I can change my life, wherever moving it, I'm moving there. It's a starting point. It don't say that's my destination. That's a starting point. You have the people saying, oh, I don't want to move out of there. They're not going to let me come back. If it's that bad, why you want to go back anyway? It's a lot of different things that goes on that people just don't say anything about. I am a fighter for what's right. I went back there, I told them, hey, yeah, only y'all can change it. You go back there, they throw the garbage outside. You ain't get rid of no rats. You don't take the garbage out your house full of roaches. And you might even get your cousins, your rodents in it. You might get everything, but you have to stand for something. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Everybody ain't bad back there, but the bad have to suffer with the good.
That's true. Board member, right?
I agree with board member Roberts. I remember because I was, I talked to her many nights, Miss in Cordoba Apartments, Miss Shalonda Rivers. When they didn't listen to her in the lower level, she went to the upper level. When they didn't listen to her in the upper level, I remember one time she stayed with her family. She didn't stand for the mold. All those things down there, she took it straight to, I think it was straight to Washington. She took it straight to Washington and now look at Cordoba Apartments, how they're getting fixed and everything. Because she said she was tired of doing that. She even offered to help them back there because she said she was tired. And you have to, like Ms. Roberts said, you have to speak up.
You have to stand
If you saw it leaning the first day, then you have to say something. And that's one thing that Ms. Shalonda Rivers did. I mean, sometimes I would talk to her till like 1 o'clock in the morning. She goes, oh no, that's not gonna happen. And she took it like all the way to Washington. And now look at Cordoba. Cordoba is not even, they're fixing it. I don't think I don't think it's even Florida. I think it's the Congress that's fixing Cordoba. That's funding them.
Well, it's a private contract, like the gardens, but it still goes back to the same thing. In life, we can't blame everybody for your choices. Life choices could be good or bad. Some people don't care about circumstances and some people do. Sometimes life will make you think about everything. If you keep going down the wrong road, you're gonna get to a dead end or you're gonna have an accident going down that road. Somewhere you have to change the mindset. I go back there and I talk to them. I talk to them the same way I speak to everybody. Hey, I feel sorry. I wouldn't live in a situation or whatever it is, but I'm one person. I'm one person. It's one person versus 328 families that don't have a place to go. So you have to look at everything, but life choices take you there. 5 years plan or whatever it is. Hey, the young lady came in here and said, I've been in the project for 30 years. First of all, to say it, that's a mentality check. You need you need a wake up call. Okay, yeah, you've been there 30 years. You didn't change nothing in the 30 years. That's the way I look at it. And I'm gonna tell you why I say what I say. Years ago, I was born and raised in a home and grew up in a house. I didn't have to live in the projects. And one day they gave me some information to move in a Scott. When a Scott's in 1999, or I think it was 99. And the short part of it is I went in there and I had a lady across the street tell me she had been in the project since 1968. I had a lady next door to me tell me, oh, I've been here since 1971. You know, my first instinct was, I'm in the wrong spot. First of all, I ain't got no business here. I didn't have to be here, but I wanted to know what it was like to live in the project. Everybody was so excited about living in the project. I went to work and I came home one day and I had my children and I said, whew, is this my destination? I don't think this is my destination. I was paying $41 a month, 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom, whatever it was. I got up one morning, I got a truck, I backed the truck up and I emptied out the place. The lady said, you're moving. I said, this is not for me. This is not my destination. They said, you leaving, you pay $41 a month. I said, I can't do it. For my life and the betterment of my children, it's no way they could keep the $41. You have to change your mindset. That's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm not beating them down. I've been there, but you have to change your outlook. I got up, I packed everything up, took the key to the rent office, whatever. Lady say, hey, you really gonna leave $41? I gotta go. I gotta go.
So can we come to a conclusion with this? And one of the things we need to do is bring in Miss Dark. We need to bring her in, have her to let us know what's actually taking place with her day to day with those scenes in her movement. The second thing is we need to ask her to bring a few singers with us so we could be able to understand what's going on with that. And then the third thing we need to do is create a plan of action.
Oh, that's fine.
So
Cheers.
that would be for me
Sharon?
what we should do before I create a motion.
Could everybody just go home or in the process of this month, take some time out and get some thoughts and put them on paper. And then we can explain, everybody can explain their part of it and what their thoughts are. And then we come back, we should be able to put a plan together, type it up and try to get in motion because we need to do it we need to have it done by next month, at least the new fiscal year. And that's it.
I don't have a problem with that. So instead of calling a motion, we just do that. We would just go home, come back and see what we come up with individually and then present it collectively. And then we just take whatever the best points with whatever everyone came up with, and then we start formulating a plan from there. But one of the things that I do want to do is to be able to go back in the back blues in different places, not just because we're the community relations board, but to actually start mining out seniors. So we need to find out which one of what senior is alone, what senior doesn't have the necessary functions. And I mean, as far as if they're on a respirator, if they can't move. So at least we have some sort of idea who we're working with, what we need to do. And then two, if we need to go a step further, trust me, we can go a step further. And I'm quite sure we'll have city officials that will back us up once we come up with what we need to come up with. But we just can't let them, this thing with the seniors on fixed income, passing along slutty landlords, knowing that, the seniors really can't afford that, but you're going to put them in a position to where you're creating homelessness because of greed. And that's basically what it is now. Why code enforcement won't call around there is beyond me. Because if you don't want to fix them, I'm quite sure by the time code enforcement get slap you with a few fines, you're gonna fix something around that end. Whether the senior's there or not, now you still got to spend the money. So my aunt and my brother always say, pay now, pay later, but you're gonna pay. And so there needs to be someone standing in the gap for Miss Ramona. There needs to be us standing in the gap for Miss Shirley and those seniors that are in that position. So that's my thoughts on it. Is there any other thoughts before we move on with this matter? You might.
With my dealing with the seniors, I've been in the community of Opa-locka about 25 years plus. From me dealing with them through the program I had at once upon a time, the reason why I lost it because of finance. I was able to go to senior houses and give an ear, listen to what they had to say, and then they would invite another senior and another senior. But that program devolved because of finances. I truly understand what you mean by the seniors. The seniors are very important, and everything they say is very important, but they need to have an ear. My main primary was my finances because I had the food. I have a big food drive, so I always took them food. Not only took them food, but I was able to give them an ear to listen to their problems, what they need or what I can help them get. I lost all of that because of finances, but finances was the main part of it because I was able to get to the ones that couldn't come to me and give my advice or listen to what they had to say. So my resources that I have now will be vital to what we're trying to do if the need be. So I agree with him to sit down and think things over and see what we can come up with. And whatever we come up with, I truly believe I'll be a great asset to solving the problems with our seniors. So this is a good idea.
For me, that's the conclusion of it. I think that we need to do what we say we were going to do. We'll call another meeting, come back, and then address this as need be. But this is something that is of urgency. I know we are still working on getting stuff for the playground and trying to get the park equipment, but we talk about human lives now. We talk about people losing their lives and not being in a position to take care of themselves. So we need to be able to help our fellow man. Next is public comments. Seeing that we have no one in the audience, let me say this, and I'm going to preface my comments with this. As the chairman of the Community Relations Board, my position is far beyond this board. My position is as a citizen in the city of Opa-locka to have the city functioning in the right direction. I really have to say this. For whether it be a commissioner, the manager, whoever, let me say this. Commissioner Kelly doesn't put a battery in my back. He doesn't tell me what to say. When I step up to the mic during a commission meeting or any other time, I come in as I've been coming since June of 1997. When I come as a citizen in the city of Opa-locka, I come for the welfare of the city. That's what I speak on. I speak on matters that are concerning the city. If there's wrong in the city, whether I'm sitting on this board or coming up as a citizen, I am going to address it. This thing with the manager and what a lot of people don't understand with the city manager is, since June 22nd of this year, I have not gotten one public information request from the city manager. Not one. We're going back and forth in emails, and he's basically trying to blame me for him not having a level 2 background. The commission and those who seem so adept to put him up here for whatever reasons. When we have people that sit on this commission knowing full well he was appointed here wrong, he came here wrong, costing the city lawsuits. And you are trying to say that a commissioner that sit on the board is telling me what to say. Listen, if you know me, let me give you the best example I can in my closing. My aunt used to be the city manager here. Her name was Yvette. Her name is Yvette Harold. To this day, my aunt do not speak to me. We do not speak because of my love for the city. So if you think that somebody could put a battery in my back and tell me what to say, then you don't know Brian Dennis. So I'm going to say this, and I want the commission to hear me when I say this. Go ahead and make Mr. Darwin Will Williams the city manager, if that's what you so choose. And I'm gonna hold the biggest press conference out in the front of City Hall and ask the governor to remove each and every one of you for violating the city charter. If there's no further discussion, then this meeting is closed.
Last.